In an old mine in Oregon, Frank is finishing up work when Aiden, his young son, calls him back home. He tells the boy he's going to finish one last job and asks him to wait in the car. Shortly after, Frank enters the mine and puts on a protective mask, when suddenly he hears a strange noise. He ignores it and continues through a secret tunnel, where he and his partner Kenny have set up a laboratory to produce certain prohibited substances. As they are about to leave, Frank hears a noise again, which this time seems to be from some wild animal. The two rush to get out of the tunnel, but in the darkness, a strange creature jumps toward them and begins to attack. Minutes later, Aiden realizes that his father is taking too long and goes to the warehouse, but there is no sign of him anywhere. Even so, he enters the place and calls for his father, but the boy ends up disappearing into the darkness. 3 weeks later, at a local school, teacher Julia Meadows gives a lesson on the different ways of telling a story. However, none of the students are interested in the subject, especially Lucas, Aiden's older brother. After class, the boy goes to get his things when he sees 3 troublemakers, led by Clint, making fun of him. However, from inside his backpack, Lucas takes out a monkey doll that belongs to the group's leader and decides to take it secretly to get revenge on the boy. On the way, Lucas sees a small opossum near the coast, and for no apparent reason, he picks up a rock and eliminates the poor animal. After that, he returns home with the opossum, and with his father and brother away, the boy goes to the first floor, which is locked with several locks. Later, teacher Julia returns home, where she finds Paul, her brother and the town sheriff. Apparently, the two had a traumatic childhood, and after spending some time away from town, she returned, and Paul welcomed her into their parents' old house. The sheriff asks if his sister is adjusting to the new school, and Julia says she is doing her best, but the students do not participate in class. Even so, she does not intend to give up on the class, and comments on Lucas, a quiet boy who usually draws in class. When night falls, the boy is drawing in his room and picks up the doll he stole from Clint. Furious, he uses a knife to remove the doll's head, but soon after, someone knocks on the door. Lucas panics and remains motionless in his room, shining his flashlight at the door, waiting for the knocking to stop. The next morning, the boy goes to another class, and Julia asks the students to show their homework. The assignment was to write a story and tell it to everyone in class, and this time, Julia asks Lucas to participate. The boy then stands up and narrates the story of a family of 3 bears, where the father fed and cared for his cubs. However, one day, the father and the youngest cub got sick, and when they returned home, they were more aggressive and hungry than ever. Despite this, the 3 bears remain united, with the older cub being responsible for taking care of the family. The teacher is intrigued by the story, and when she notices the boy's dirty and torn clothes, she decides to find out more about Lucas. After class, the troublemakers go to look inside the boy's backpack, where they find the headless monkey doll. Clint